Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show brave enough to contradict its own reporting from a few days ago.
Yeah, but these are the corrections that are happy corrections. Things are getting a little bit better. Also, you may have noticed Bruce is still on secret assignment, although that secret won't be secret for too much longer.
Don't look at my lanyard. IGN's Rebecca Valentine caught a comment from Electronic Arts CEO Andrew Wilson during the company's Q1 earnings call yesterday, indicating that EA will not push the prices of their games up to $80.
Hooray! I love this stuff. Even though the new price never actually hit, it's still nice. Wilson simply said, quote, "We're not looking to make any changes on pricing at this stage," in response to a question from an investor about EA's position, while their competitors, basically just Nintendo at this point, have broken that $80 pricing barrier.
Yeah, so provided there's no weird exceptions or caveats that Andrew Wilson didn't tell us about, that means that Battlefield 6, Madden NFL 26, and possibly Star Wars Zero Company will hold at $70.
Yeah, Zero Company might be, well in another fiscal year. So these comments may not apply to that, but yeah, Madden, Battlefield, should. If you want the full diatribe from Wilson, and honestly, who wouldn't? We love hearing executives say things on this channel. Here it is.
My favorite thing is reading word salad from executives. Andrew Wilson said that's in the construct of, we already offer a fairly broad pricing scheme across our various products. When you think about everything from free-to-play through to our premium products and deluxe editions, our orientation is always to capture the full spectrum of pricing so that we can serve players in the best way possible and offer them the greatest value. We'll continue to look at opportunities to deliver great value to our players through various pricing schemes over the course of time, but no dramatic changes planned yet. I'll leave it to Andrew Wilson to leave the last 4 words are the most important of that whole thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, I always try to be, somewhat generous in my interpretation of executive word salad. He's talking to investors, and investors just want to know that EA is trying to get all the money there is to get. So that's all he's doing. We get the free players, we get the premium players, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we're not changing prices. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to do the song and dance,
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of Battlefield 6 and long quotes from executives, Video Games Chronicle reported further comments from Wilson on EA's commitment to the upcoming shooter.
All right, I'll do this one. Quote, "We've been investing more behind this Battlefield than any Battlefield product before it. And really, the big reason for that is this isn't just a product. We're really building out Battlefield as a platform. And you'll hear a lot more about this in just 2 days' time. And all will become more clear about the nature of our investment over the last 4 years, with 4 studios building against this launch to date." So there you go. They're making it a whole... They've been wanting to do that, I guess, for a long time now. Portal, I think, was the first really direct investment of that, and Firestorm, but it seems like they're really gunning for it for this one. Pun partially intended there.
You know what, Lawrence? Without saying too much, they absolutely are. They are totally doing that. For better or worse, I really don't know. I am obviously very biased for Battlefield. I love Battlefield, but I don't know what the internet's going to think. So be really, really curious to see in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, how it lands. Yeah, we'll see. Well, it's apparently a relief that Battlefield 6 will cost only $70. Like, that's cheap now. Anyway, this seemingly contradicts a recent report from the usually reliable leaker Bilbilcoon, which indicated an €80 price for the console versions of Battlefield 6. Yeah, that post even had a little graph. It had a little table and everything. It seems so official.
Yeah, I guess maybe it'll be €80 in the EU, but maybe it'll be 70 here. I don't know. Wilson's comments about Battlefield 6 being the start of a platform rather than a product launch do corroborate another rumor, though. Kickstreamer Rival Factor posted that Battlefield 6 will eventually get a free-to-play Battle Royale mode, but only a few months after the game's launch.
Okay, well, that's kind of neat. Then they have a content calendar basically planned for the next couple of months for Battlefield 6 at least, of new modes and things to add. Hopefully it'll be something more substantial than, new emotes and a new hat and a tactical vest that's blue now. We'll see. A whole ass new mode should be interesting, especially with an influx of free-to-play players. It does make me wonder if it's going to be quarantined, though. Battle Royale is where all the free players are, and then matchmaking is where all the paid players stay for now. I guess that really does kind of mirror what Call of Duty did.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do the Warzone. Well, I do know why they didn't do the Warzone thing back in 2021 when Battlefield 2042 came out, but they're doing it now, so that's something. I'm excited that they're trying that out. Again, if you watch this show at all, I have been begging them for a free-to-play mode. that releases in tandem with their actual video game, and they're finally doing it. So hey, I can't fault them for that.
Yeah, a battle royale on Battlefield is kind of interesting. I guess Call of Duty I associate even more with rapid death, but man, death comes severely and chaotically in Battlefield. I can't imagine a high stakes match in something like that. On the subject of price, though, it is possible that the price was 80 or 80 euro at least when Bill Kuhn reported it, and that maybe EA backed off that price, or that was what they had internally, and they decided no, we'll just stick with 70 across the board. In general, I've been shocked at how up to the last minute certain decisions are made when it comes to game launches and how quickly things can change. I've heard this certainly in, this is a bit of a different topic, but in relation to like games conferences, those massive hour and a half entire productions with racks and racks of trailers, those things are changing up until like the day before, sometimes even the hour before they go live on the air. And I've certainly heard stories with games publishers, how they'll just change their mind about monetization completely in the weeks leading up to launch. And I can only imagine how stressful that is for a game developer when whether or not people even play your game hinges on those decisions. So it's possible that everyone was right at the time that they said the thing. Microsoft recently just rolled their pricing announcement back. So the fact that now we don't know that EA was going to do it and didn't, but let's presume that that is the case. That's now multiple industry players that were going to go to 80 and decided not to, which makes me think that the executives of all these companies are seeing worrying trends in data, or maybe even the purchasing power of people that play games, and are all coming to the same conclusions when they see the same data, which is that we have to keep the prices where they are. Good news, though, I guess.
No, Lawrence, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that I promise you that these companies would have milked us for all we're worth if they could. But they have that data, and they also have all of us, yelling about the fact that we don't want $80 games. Now, Nintendo doesn't give a shit, but Borderlands and EA and Microsoft, they do. They are really trying to. Again, I don't want to say that they're listening to us in the sense that they are actually just looking at data and looking at pre-orders and being like, oh, nobody's buying this. Like, we can't sell this for 80 because there's just no way. And while they do change these things like right up to the very last second when it comes to pricing, I want to be clear that they don't change the video game itself, in the sense that like developing a video game takes years, so it's really hard to change like things inside the game right up to the very last second. But pricing and marketing and all that shit, that can change up to the very last day. So it is good that we are still making our displeasure known with our dollars and with our voices.
Absolutely. And yeah, Bruce, thank you for making that distinction. While it is a bit of a hypersimplification, yeah, the developer makes the game, the publisher markets and prices the game. Essentially, they commission a work of art from an artist, and then they take it to market and sell it and try to make a profit on the difference. So that's the business arrangement. And yeah, you're right. Games cannot change up until the last minute. If they do, they're going to be broken. But the nature in which you package and sell a game, that is something that can slosh all over the place. So that's kind of interesting. The only other bit that I thought was kind of interesting about the report was the difference between PC and console pricing. That's something that has happened in the past. PC game prices tend to be a little bit lower. When AAA game prices creep up, it's usually on console first. I was always curious about that. The easy answer is I think there's more competition in digital marketplaces on the PC. But I think something else that occurred to me just now, this is just kind of food for thought, I think profit margins are higher on PC too. Because Steam and Epic, they all have revenue structures that don't take a flat 30% anymore. But I'm not sure that that's the case for the PlayStation Store. I don't think we ever got many details about the revenue sharing aspect of PlayStation Store, but I'm pretty sure, or I'd be willing to bet that all business through that is a flat 30 and there's no sliding scale, there's no exemption for, smaller scale publishers or anything like that. So I only bring it up because sometimes I see frustrations from players saying like, well, if game development's getting more efficient, and especially things like digital distribution mean we get the game without the cost of shipment or physical product, shouldn't the game be cheaper? The answer is yes, and unfortunately that's already been priced in. So the sad reality is you're already enjoying the discount that you theoretically think you should be getting, especially if you're on PC.
Oh man, you're totally right. And I want to say competition is just generally better on PC. Like you could buy it in more places usually, which is why it's cheaper. And also another thing that's important about Battlefield specifically is that Battlefield 2042 in 2021 was $70. They released it at $70 with no campaign. I believe on console. I don't remember if it was 60 on PC, but I know it was 70 on console. And that was a big deal because I was like, what are they doing? Why are they asking 70 for this game that has no campaign in 2021? They were pushing it way back. So I'm very glad that the game is not going up to $80 now, because I thought for sure they were going to push it to 80 and sink this game before it even comes out. Really, honestly, and I know 70 seems like a lot, and it is, but it's so much better in 2025 than it was in 2021.
Yeah, provided that we all have more money now than we did. Sadly, if not, then all your money has inflated and it's not worth as much as it used to. But
yep,
life just keeps giving us knocks. Hopefully, we'll be able to visit all our frustrations out on other Battlefield 6 players very soon.
Yeah, Lawrence, I should also disclose, yes, I am at a Battlefield event. I am not being paid to go to this, just so you know. They're giving me money for food, and they've also given me a hotel room. But I am not being paid to do this. I'm just very excited about Battlefield, and I would gladly play Battlefield early anyways. So I wanted to make sure I got the disclosure out.
All right, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, believe it or not, we talk about games because we really love them and love to play them. So sometimes we get the courtesy or the opportunity to play games we're really excited about, and who wouldn't say yes to that? And yeah, Bruce, you've gushed about Battlefield for years. Probably the biggest Battlefield devotee I know. So there's no one more fitting to be at that event than you.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, I can't wait to talk about it when people finally get to play the game. I'll be streaming it tomorrow, not to plug my own stream, but I can't wait to play with Lawrence, because Lawrence and I have been playing Battlefield for years and years and years, and we will stream it at some point. I know we will.
Yeah, I can't wait to do Battlefield Triage. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
just letting everyone else run in and get shot, and then I just stab them with a little needle, get them back on their feet.
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of hidden Battlefield heroes, we'd like to shout out some very special Inside Games patrons that support our show, and they spend all their time in Battlefield just killing snipers and knocking out anti-aircraft vehicles, just making sure that game's playable for the rest of us. So we celebrate you and we salute you, Wesley Mullins and Baron 5X. You're the angels we don't deserve.
I was like, I had to put my phone down in order to salute.
You got the sun in that.